How to make a variable product. For the basics on how to create a product on Support My Local, please watch How to Make a Simple Product tutorial. A product is something that you want to sell, such as a jar of jam, some salami, or a homemade blanket. Products can be either simple, for example a blue blanket, or variable, for example the blankets come in red, blue, or green. This video is about how to make a variable product. First, you log into your dashboard and click the tab on the side labelled Products. It will take you to this page. Then you click the Add New button in the top right hand corner. As you can see here, product creation defaults to Simple, so we need to click the drop down menu and choose Variable Product. As you can see, the menu below has now changed. Notably, the Input Price box has gone away. Don't worry. You will now assign the price of each variation independently. Add your main product image as usual, and then add all of the images that you want for your variations into the gallery. Fill in the descriptions, category, and brand name as you do with simple products. Now, scroll down to the second section. It defaults to the Variations tab. Don't worry about this yet. Instead, go to Attributes, which is directly above Variations. The attributes are where you are going to input your variations. Click Add. First, name your attribute. I chose quantity, but you may want to use colour if you are, for example, selling red, blue and green baby blankets, or weight if you are selling jam jars weighing 50, 70 and 90 grams. Put in said variations. I chose 1, 2 and 3. Next, check the Visible on Product Page box. This ensures that your customers can see your variations when browsing. Most importantly, check the User's Variation box. This will allow the website to produce clickable variations, all with their own price and image. If you don't check this box, then the user will see the attributes as a list. This is what we did with the allergens in the How to Create a Simple Product tutorial. If you want to add an allergens list, then do so now by adding a new attribute called allergens and not clicking the Use as Variation box. Now go back to the Variations tab. The contents will have changed if you correctly inputted the variations above. For now, ignore all the boxes except the one labelled 2. Open the drop-down menu and choose Create Variation from All Attributes. This dialog box will pop up. The exact appearance differs per browser. Just click OK. The page will refresh, and again you will see that it has changed. You can see that there are now 3 boxes labelled 1, 2 and 3. This is because I chose my 3 variations in the Attributes section to be the quantities 1, 2 and 3. If you inputted red, green and blue, then they would be there instead. If you inputted more or fewer than 3 variations, then that many will show. Next, go to Default Form Values. This is which variation will be the default when the consumer clicks on your product in your store. I have chosen the quantity of 2 as my default, but if you were selling blankets, you could default to blue, or because you think it's the most popular, or you happen to have a surplus of them at the moment and thus want to shift more blue blankets than red or green. This can be changed at any time, so don't agonise over your default. If you ignore it, then it will default to the first variation in the list below. Now, click the blue arrow in the right-hand corner of the first variation. It will drop down into this screen. Here you input the price for this variation. For example, I want one thing to cost £5. You could decide that your blue blanket costs 50. Now click the image button and input that variations image. For your first one, this may be the same as your main product image, although it doesn't have to be. If this variation is a blue baby blanket, then put in a picture of a blue baby blanket. If you leave it blank, then it will default to the main image. Now you add the weight and the SKU. If you have any plans to deliver by courier, then this is vital to be filled in for every variation. Don't worry if the weight is the same for them all, i.e. 200 grams, just put that in for each. If you know what an SKU number is, then put in this variations one. Otherwise, just ignore this box. The stock is set per item, defaulting to in stock. As with a simple product, you can set it to out of stock, back order, or you can manage your stock dynamically. Any text that you put in the variation description box will appear under the variation selection menu when the customer has this variation selected. You have finished your first variation. Now do the same with the next one down. As you can see, I inputted a different picture, one that matches my variation quantity to a different price, weight, and variation description. Once you have finished uploading all of your variations, scroll to the bottom of the page and click Submit. This will publish the variable product to your shop. Don't worry about imperfections, that can be adjusted at any time. The page will refresh. Click View, which is near the Submit button, to see your new product. On your shop page, you can see the price range of your variations displayed. Next to the Add to Basket button is the price for this particular variation. This variation's image is automatically selected. You can also see the variation-specific description text under the Quantity Select drop-down. If you go to that drop-down and choose another variation, then the price, text, and images will all switch automatically to match. You can also see that I marked variation 3 as out of stock, while the other two variations are in stock. Now, this might not make much sense for products like quantity, but it is a very useful feature for other attributes, such as you are out of red blankets but still have lots of blue and green ones. If you added an SKU, then it will change with the variation, like all of the other variable factors do. The long description is found at the bottom tab, like with the simple products. Any attributes you added without the user's variation box ticked will be visible in additional information next to the long description tab. Congratulations on creating your first variable product.